This Toyota Corolla has been failing to start in the morning after an overnight drain, so we're going to be looking for a parasitic draw on it in this video. I'm just going to disconnect the battery here and stick an ammeter in series. There is another way to do it, a little bit fussier if you're worried about preserving your vehicle's memory setups of various modules, which newer cars may have. That is excessive current draw. I've tracked this and it continues indefinitely, hours and hours and hours, and is hard on a battery. So the first step is just to pull fuses while you're monitoring that current draw, and find one when it drops would be the circuit to look at. In this case I'm looking at a radio circuit, and that's the one that's causing the current draw. So now we have to look further. And here's the current, and a 300 milliamp with no load on. So it's just jumping up with the flashing of the security light inside. 6 to 8 milliamps, very, very nice low draw without the fuse. So now we're going to dig into that circuit and figure out where the problem is. The plan is to remove the radio, then put our fuse back in, monitor our current draw as we plug in and unplug the radio, and see if the radio is the actual cause of the current draw. You know, these trim moldings are kind of hard to get started, and when they go, they tend to go all at once. There's 2 strips below this piece that you can take out too. You don't have to. Those 2 screws on each side look like 10 millimeter. Use a 1/4 inch drive, maybe a 6-inch extension to be able to pull the radio out. That is correct, 10 millimeter. You're going to get it best with a 1/4 drive, so take those 4 out. Okay, you might want to use a grabbing tool for these. Then just pull that top unit forward and you're separated. And just unplug 4 connectors. Okay, and just squeeze, pull these out. Okay, now we want to verify that it is the radio and not something else in that radio circuit. So we're going to monitor current while we plug it in, and this time I'm going to do it differently in order to preserve power to the car at all times. For this you need 2 different probes on your meter, one with the pointed tip and the other with the alligator end. Select DC amps and put it in the 10 amp position first. Okay, we also need a jumper, just a plain alligator on one end, and a clamp on the other end that's big enough to fit around the battery terminal. That's going to come in and it's going to allow us to put the meter a little further away and not have to hold on to it. So here's the method. Clamp this onto the terminal. This one goes on the battery post. Next step, loosen it. Loosen the negative here. And your connection is being maintained while you do this. Okay, when it comes loose, you can lift it up, get it off of there, put this onto the battery, The other end is going to go on our lead. We take it off, we have continuity. Okay, now I'm going to watch the meter as I plug in the radio. Zero to 240, and it's somewhere in the radio. And this current draw stays there. I checked it over several hours. Hey, don't worry, I'm not going to show you tearing this whole thing down, but as a tech, electronic tech, I have to take a look at the board, make sure there's nothing obviously wrong with it. And I could find nothing obviously wrong, so we're headed for a new sound system. And the owner of this vehicle chose this Boss unit. A lot of them out of stock these days. So we're going to show you the results. Reverse. I found it pretty surprising that the radio caused the parasitic draw. This is my first experience with a draw like this, and turned out to be relatively easy. Many of them aren't. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.